welcome to the fourth and final video in my series of going through all the cards in Tomb of the Lich Lord. Now, in this video, I'm going to be going over the white-backed map cards, and when I get through those, I will show the miscellaneous cards that also came in the box. But to begin with, I'm going to show the Tomb Threshold. Now, this is the entrance card, designated by this entrance symbol here. It's the only entrance card in this set. So every hero going into the tomb has to go down these same flight of stairs and then go into the tomb itself. Now, there are basically two types of map cards. There are rooms and there are passages. Now, rooms all have some kind of special ability or action or description going on at the bottom. Passages are merely there for you to pass through, basically, to get from room to room. Now, there is kind of a subset of that called grim passages. And the only difference in a passage and a grim passage, a regular passage, you just pass through, and a grim passage has something else going on in the passage. And we'll look at all that here coming up soon. Right now, I'm going to go through, finish talking about this entrance room. So the entrance has open doors on all four exits. Sometimes you'll see a card that has a black door there or a black wall, and you cannot pass through that. Sometimes you'll see an L or a T that stands for locked or trapped doors. But in this case, they're all open. And every room and every passage card has a peril value and a glory value. And these are the number of points the hero gains when they enter this card, into this area. So at the beginning of the game, as they enter the tomb, each hero is going to gain one peril point and one glory point to start the game with. And in this one, it says, start here. You may not initiate a challenge on a hero here. You may pay 2 glory to discard 1 personal hero quest and draw 1 new one. So if you're having troubles completing a quest, just come back to the entrance and swap it out. So anyway, there's the artwork. There are a lot of barrels and boxes down in this tomb. You'll see coming up here. So when you start the game, during setup, you are instructed to take all the passages that are in the set, shuffle them, and draw 4 at random and attach to the 4 exits from this card. So because of that, I am going to go over passages first, and then we'll come back and look at the rest of the rooms. So there are 3 just plain passage cards that don't have a corresponding grim passage. And the first one's the corridor. And in each of these, you gain 2 peril points and 1 glory point for entering. In case of the corridor, you can enter at the top or the bottom. And here's the black, where you cannot go through the sides here. Okay, so that's a corridor. Then you have the hall passage, 2 and 1. The only difference is this is a left to right passage instead of up and down. And then the final, just plain passage, again 2 peril, 1 glory, is you come in on the side and go out the bottom. Okay, so those are the 3 plain passage cards. Now there are 3 grim passages that don't have a plain passage equivalent. This is the Grim Fork. You gain 3, I believe they're all, yeah, you gain 3 peril points and 2 glory points for each of these. The Grim Fork, you just cannot go out or enter from the left. You can do the top, bottom, and right. And when you're here, if an opponent throws a trap at you, it's going to raise the threat level up by 2. So you're going to have to roll 2 better on your die roll to succeed. Okay, and then there's the Grim Intersection. You just can't go out or enter at the top, left, right, or bottom. Now this one has a pit. Now what you do when you enter here, you have to make a test here against your speed. So you roll the die, add your speed score, and if you get a 7 or better, you avoid the pit. You actually see it and step around it. But if you roll, if your total is below 7, then you fell in the pit and your figure is tipped. So you take your character and tip it, and there's no wound involved. It's just going to cost 1 extra movement point to untip, and you can't move again until you untip. So basically it just costs 1 extra movement for you. And then the other type is the Grim Intersection. It's the same layout as the Intersection. Wait, they're both intersections, aren't they? This is the Pit Intersection. This is the Spike Intersection. Now with this one, when you enter, there are spikes in the hallway. Now if you do a test, a speed test, and you get 5 or better, you're able to avoid the spikes. But if you roll, if you get less than 5, then you take 1 wound because you brushed up against one of those spikes. Okay, so those are the 3 Grim passages. Now these two, there's a regular corner and then a Grim corner. Now for the regular one, you're going to gain 3 peril points and 1 glory. It's basically coming in the bottom or going out the right, or coming in the right, going out the bottom. So the Grim corner, same orientation, but you get 3 peril and 2 glory. And the difference is there's a pit located in the Grim corner, and you have to test 6 or better to avoid the pit. And again, if you fail, you're going to get tipped. If you pass, then there's no penalty. You've passed, and you can pass through the corner, no problem. And the last passage, we've got the junction and the Grim junction. So the regular junction, and this just has all 4. It's a cross. You gain 2 peril and 1 glory point. In the Grim junction, you gain 3 and 2 respectively. The difference is, in the Grim junction, there's going to be a +2 on traps that are thrown at you by opponents. Okay, so those are all the passages. Now let's take a look at the rest of the rooms that are involved, that are included in this set. First one is the barracks. Now you're going to gain 4 peril and 3 glory when you enter, and all encounter monsters have +1 melee here. And again, that's encounter, not quest monsters. Now you can enter the left, right, or the bottom, and here's the artwork of the barracks. So it's the place where the soldiers lived. Okay, and that's that. Next is the crypt. Now this is where you're going to go with Caedmon's soul, or to get Caedmon's soul. In fact, there's the slab that he possibly laid on, or Vladimir as one of the slay quests. That could be his. But you see these hands and everything, the purple magic, the flames. Anyway, when you enter, you gain 3 peril and 2 glory points, and undead cost 1 less peril to play here, minimum of 1 peril for the cost. You cannot enter or exit at the bottom, but the other 3 you can. All right. Next, we have the Inner Sanctum. You gain 3 peril and 2 glory when you enter. Vermin are half cost, rounded up, to play here. And you see the 2 side doors are locked. This one is a little bit tougher than this one. And you can go out the bottom, but not at the top. And the Inner Sanctum, again, looks like a little homey place. You got barrels and crates. Okay. Next is the Lair of the Tentacle Beast. You gain 3 peril and 2 glory for entering. Now you can't go on the left side. It's just top, bottom, and right. No traps, no locked doors. When you enter the space on your turn, overcome a speed threat of 6 or you tip your hero. To untip, you pay one movement point and overcome another speed test of 4 or better. If you're in this space and tipped at the beginning of your turn, that's when you're going to take a 1 wound from the Tentacle Beast. So let's take a look. See there, again, more barrels and crates. And see the tentacles? Those are actually from the tentacle beast. Okay, the next room is the library. A lot of magic goes on here. When you enter, gain 4 peril, 3 glory, and the right side is closed. Top and bottom are open, but to leave on the left side, you're going to have to go through that trap. All encounter monsters have +1 magic here, not quest monsters. And this is actually where you escort the lost magician. You bring him here. So let's take a look at all those books, all the things that you can find in a library, in a tomb, a barrel, all kinds of things on the shelf, skulls, and is that skull? Yep. All right, so that's the library. Next is the mirror chamber. This one is interesting. You gain 4 peril and 3 glory. You cannot enter on the right, only on the top, bottom, and on the left. I was mirrored, you know. Top and right are clear, but if you go to leave the bottom, you're going to have to pick the lock. So let's look at this artwork. That whole wall looks like a mirror, doesn't it? Everything is mirrored. And look, that is you. Or in this case, it's me, because I'm looking at it. All right, anytime you enter this space, a replica attacks you. That is the replica. It has your total attack score, including all modifiers, and attacks with your highest score. And then you treat the replica as a fiend-type monster. It only has 1 life, and it's going to inflict 1 wound if it's successful in its attack. Okay, so that's an awesome room. I like the theme there. Okay, then we have the Outer Sanctum. You gain 3 peril and 2 glory when you enter. You just cannot enter or leave at the bottom. And the 2 sides on the left, the door is locked, and on the right, it's trapped. But if you go out the top, you're okay. Undead have +1 to all attacks here. Let's take a look, and there's an entire stack of wooden crates. Man, that's crazy. So that's the Outer Sanctum. Next, we have the Summoning Chamber. You gain 3 peril and 2 glory points when you enter. You cannot enter or leave at the left side. The right is clear. At the top, you're going to have to go through a trap, and at the bottom, it's locked. Demons cost 1 less peril to play here with a minimum cost of 1 peril. And let's take a look at that artwork. There's some kind of unholy rite going. In fact, is that like a body? I see like the shape of something, a form there. Yeah, that's pretty neat. So that was the Summoning Chamber. Next is the Throne of Tyranny. You gain 3 peril and 2 glory for entering here. And look at this, all 4 doors are trapped. So that doesn't mean anything when you come in, but to leave, you're going to have to go through a trapped door. Now, if you remember, there's a quest that requires you to come here, and it has that same throne. So I mentioned that last episode when I went through all the quest cards that I like the consistency that this is the same as on the quest card. All right, so what happens here? Let's take a look. You may choose to pay 1 movement point and roll a 7 or better on 1 die, adding your level to the roll. So you're going to, the higher level you are, the better you're going to do when you come to this throne. If you fail, you're going to take a wound, but if you succeed, you control the throne and you may tyrannize on your turn. Now, tyrannize is a special ability that lets you choose a target hero and roll 3 or better on 1 die. If you succeed, that hero must quit the game or take 1 wound. Using Tyrannize ends your turn, so you don't get anything past that. So you may want to do it later in your turn. You control the throne until either you leave or another hero takes control of the throne. So that is a pretty cool card. And there is a quest that actually sends you to the throne where you have to wound yourself instead of another player. All right, next we have the Troll Bridge. You gain 1 peril but no glory by going to the Troll Bridge. You pay 3 glory to enter this space, or you have to overcome a speed threat of 5 or better, and if you fail, you're going to return to the previous space. Now you cannot enter on the sides. This is only top and bottom, but they are unhindered. But you do have this test. You've got to do this before you enter. And there is a quest at the Troll Bridge. I just like how it's twisted. It's like roots, tree roots. Something to do with fish, magic fish. Now is there a fish there underneath the Troll Bridge? That would be a nice connection. And finally, the last room that comes in this set is the Well of Healing. When you enter, you gain 2 peril points and 1 glory. All 4 sides are open. And while here, you can pay 1 movement point and 1 glory point, and your hero recovers 1 wound. And you can do that once per turn. So doesn't this just look very soothing and healing? It does to me. Okay, so those are all of the map cards. So we're almost done here. Only a few cards left to go through, and these are miscellaneous cards that aren't actually used in gameplay. I showed these 2 at the beginning in my first video. These are the character cards. Now, this came in 2 55 card decks. These were on top of both of those decks. This was A deck and B deck. These are the 3 characters that came in the A deck. What you're supposed to do is cut these out and then fold them down the middle. And these are the standees that you're supposed to use while you move around on the map. In my videos, I used little miniatures from other board games. And again, these are the characters that came in the B deck. But you will never, ever see me cut up a card that comes in a card game. That is one reason why I used miniatures instead of these. Okay, so you have 2 of those, and they've got the green backs like the characters. Okay. Whoa. So we've got those cards. And the next miscellaneous, you've got these 2 cards. And these are the symbols that are in the game. So we'll put the second one down. These symbols, let's go through them real quick. You've got the melee, magic, and speed combat types. And your speed determines your number of movement points, which is just the white boot without the circle around it. You have life points. I keep calling it health or hit points. And you've got these 3 symbols that are found. The circle is attack. Diamond is counterattack, and then that starburst effect means that's when you have a success in your combat and you hit. Now on the map cards, you've got these symbols. You've got the entrance, an open doorway, a blocked wall. You've got a locked door, a trapped door. And then the square represents a pit. The hexagon represents a hazard, and these are on the grim passages. And then the spiked circle represents spikes. Now glory points, represented by this green hand, that's your glory. That buys treasure cards and boon cards. And that was episode 1, my first video. My second video showed these, what peril points buy. Those are encounter cards and bane cards. Okay, so you get 2 of those cards the players can share. And then finally you get these 4 turn summary cards. Let's put those down there. We'll just quickly go through this. On your turn, and it shows all 5 phases. You've got the reset phase, the Dungeon Lord phase, build phase, hero phase, and it breaks down the 3 things you can spend movement points on. And also in the hero phase you can buy cards with glory points. And finally, you've got the discard and draw phase. Then it even breaks down combat steps. Off or on your turn, you can play anytime cards whenever. You can play a response card on the response step, and that is in combat. There's an attack declared, and then there's the response step. And use the effect of a readied card, if permitted. or you can untip your hero or initiate a challenge and then attack. A challenge is, you can challenge another hero. You've got some PvP going on. Okay, now on the back of these 6 cards, you have these trackers. So let's go ahead and turn all those over. And what these are used for, these are to keep track of your glory points and your peril points. And in my videos, I used glass beads. That's a good way to slide them over. I've seen counters used, little pieces of paper, whatever. So the glory points are facing you because you control your glory point totals. Your peril points actually are oriented to face your opponent because they actually control, they're the ones that spend your peril points. So anyway, those are all the miscellaneous cards. So you take these 4 turn summary cards, you take these 2 symbol cards, along with the 2 character cards, the standees, and these 8 cards are not used actually in gameplay. So that leaves, out of these 110 cards, that leaves 102 cards that you actually play with. So in my first video, I said I only used one of the 55 card decks. Well, you would take 4 of the cards that were these miscellaneous cards. So it was actually 51 cards I played with. The other 2 videos, I combined both decks, and it wasn't 110 cards, it was 102. But anyway, that is every card that comes in Tomb of the Lich Lord. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in my next video.